Having been on over 25 cruises, I can confidently say that cruising is one of the most exciting and relaxing ways to travel. However, even seasoned cruisers can make costly mistakes that leave a sour taste in their mouths. I've had my fair share of slip-ups, from forgetting to place my phone in airplane mode to booking pricey last-minute excursions. These mistakes can quickly add up, making your vacation more expensive than planned and causing you unnecessary stress. Here are 8 costly cruising mistakes and practical tips on how to avoid them so you can make the most of your cruise vacation. First, don't forget to set a limit on your children's cruise cards. Cruises are popular family vacations because of their convenience. For example, you don't have to worry about carrying credit cards around the ship. Instead, your cruise card is linked to your debit or credit card or can be paid with cash on the final night. Because it's easy to charge things from non-alcoholic drinks to unique merchandise to your room, it's important to set limits on your children's cruise cards. Otherwise, you might be surprised by a large bill on the last night. One parent learned this the hard way after sailing aboard Margaritaville at Seas Islander. They were given a hard copy of their onboard statement and were shocked to learn that their final balance was over $1,500 because of arcade charges racked up by their children. Next, pack over-the-counter medication. One of my must-pack items on any vacation is my do-it-yourself pharmacy. It contains everything from pain relievers to acid reducers, Band-Aids, cold and flu medication, eye drops, gas relief, seasickness pills, and more. My rule of thumb is that I'd rather be prepared for the worst than caught off guard without the medication I need. There's nothing worse than feeling ill on a cruise ship, especially since ships don't have fully stocked pharmacies. While the onboard stores have limited inventory, the available medication is often overpriced. For example, when I was cruising on Wonder of the Seas recently, I was appalled to learn that a single pack of Dramamine with 2 pills was $3.50. In comparison, a pack of 36 tablets can be purchased on Amazon for around $12 or roughly 30 cents each, rather than $1.25. If you notice you've forgotten anything, I'd highly recommend stopping by a drugstore on your way to the port. Though slightly less convenient, you'll save money on everyday essentials, plus the medication you're missing might not be available on the ship. Another huge mistake is thinking you don't need travel insurance. Travel insurance should be purchased for every voyage, whether a 4-night Bahamas getaway or a port-intensive European cruise. If you're like me and travel frequently, it's easier and more affordable to purchase an annual plan rather than buying a separate policy for each trip. Last year, one couple was forced to pay $10,000 for services received in the cruise ship medical center since they didn't have travel insurance. You should also avoid flying in on the morning of departure. Though flying into Florida the morning of your cruise might seem smart to save money since you won't need a pre-cruise hotel, it's also the easiest way to blow your entire vacation budget. If your flight is delayed or canceled, the ship won't wait for your travel party. Arriving 30 minutes after the all-aboard time could mean you miss the cruise and are stranded at the port. If that happens, you'll likely be responsible for getting yourself to the next port of call at your own expense, which can be a huge financial setback. To avoid this risk, arrive at least 1 day before your cruise departs. This gives you a buffer in case of unexpected travel disruptions. Next, don't forget to put your phone on airplane mode. Because your cruise ship will be sailing in international waters to different ports of call and often different countries, you can't use your cell phone as usual. If you do, you might be surprised by a large bill from your provider, whether Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. For example, when I was cruising on MSC Seashore, I had my cellular service on while in France since my phone plan charges just $10 per day for international passes. However, I neglected to put my phone back on airplane mode when on board. While I was horrified by my mistake, I'm glad I quickly realized my cell service was on before I started sending text messages to friends and family back home or scrolling through social media apps. Because I know I won't have regular service on cruise ships, I always purchase a Wi-Fi plan, and typically it's cheaper to do so in advance. I'd also advise against booking your add-ons on board. Cruise lines including Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Margaritaville, MSC, and Carnival let guests pre-book add-ons through the line's online planning portal. Typically, reserving shore excursions, specialty dining, and drink packages before your cruise can help you save money, as cruise lines charge more for these add-ons when on the ship. For example, on my first ever visit to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, I made a last-minute decision to visit Thrill Water Park, paying over $140 for my day pass. However, another family on board paid close to $50 each through a Black Friday sale on Royal Caribbean's website. Let's just say I learned my lesson and prefer to book as many add-ons before my cruise as possible. Knowing drink packages are one of the most expensive cruise extras, I kept my eye on Royal Caribbean's prices for my Icon of the Seas cruise. As soon as I saw the deluxe beverage package available for about $70 per person per day, I jumped at the opportunity to buy it. A few weeks later, I noticed the price had risen to over $77 on the website. Next, don't wait to pay gratuities on board. Though port fees are included in the advertised price of a cruise, gratuities are not. These extra fees are charged daily per person and are divided between the hardworking crew members who work to make your vacation so memorable. The daily rates vary based on the cruise line. For example, Carnival charges $16 per day for standard cabins and $18 for suites, while Royal Caribbean's daily rate is $18.50 for standard staterooms and $24 for suites. When you book your cruise, you can elect to prepay your gratuities, effectively adding them to your balance to be paid by the final payment date. Or you can choose to have them added to your onboard account during your cruise. One major benefit to prepaying gratuities is that you are grandfathered into the current rate and don't have to worry about unexpected price increases. For example, if you're sailing with Carnival in November 2026, they could decide to raise the rate of their standard gratuities from $16 to $17 per day. However, if you prepaid your gratuities when you book the cruise, you'll be locked in at the original $16 rate, even if the price increases before you sail. Finally, don't overpay for your shore excursions. While excursions are one of the best parts of a cruise, they aren't necessarily the cheapest. Sometimes they can cost upwards of $200 per person depending on the tour. As I've become a more seasoned cruiser, I've strayed from booking excursions directly through the cruise line unless I'm in an extremely unfamiliar port of call. While the convenience of having a prearranged tour can't be beaten, I save so much money by booking through third parties or arranging my own days ashore. For example, my partner and I recently visited Honduras. Rather than reserving a tour through Royal Caribbean, we booked through Viador and paid $140, including an extra tip, for a private driver. Our 3.5-hour adventure took us to a monkey and sloth hangout, the rum company, and a chocolate factory. Before assuming you must book your tours through your cruise line, browse third-party operators and see what else is available. You may find a similar excursion for a fraction of the cost. While cruising is an incredible way to explore the world, it's easy to make costly mistakes both before and during your cruise. Planning ahead is key to avoiding unnecessary expenses and keeping your costs as low as possible. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Happy cruising, everyone!